When we think about children, we often picture little humans prone to crying over minor issues, yet also endearingly naive. However, there are shocking cases where children become the perpetrators of crime, causing harm to others. For today's story, we shift our focus to Japan. Let's delve into the murder of Satomi Mitarai, more widely known as the Nevada Tang murder. On June 1, 2004, during a regular lunch break at Okubo Elementary School, a teacher noticed two of her students were missing. Initially assuming they might have visited the restroom together or were eating elsewhere, she brushed off her concern. But then, one of the missing students, Natsumi Tsuji, returned to class with a box of bloody, cut-up clothing. Concerned for Natsumi's safety, the teacher quickly checked her for injuries and asked her if she was all right. To the teacher's astonishment, Natsumi confessed it wasn't her blood and that she had done something terrible. Alarmed, the staff started searching for the other student, Satomi Mitarai. The brief search ended horrifically as they found Satomi's lifeless body in a pool of blood near the entrance of an empty classroom on the 3rd floor. The school was thrown into chaos, the police were summoned, and parents informed. Soon after, an ambulance, police, and parents arrived at the scene. Satomi's father, Kyoji Mitarai, struggled to grasp the reality of his daughter's tragic death. According to him, Satomi never had conflicts with her peers and seemed to be on good terms with them. Kazuyoshi Tominaga from the Sasebo Central Fire Department reported finding Satomi lying face down with multiple slashes on her wrist and neck. One gash on her throat measured nearly 4 inches, leading to her death from significant blood loss. The police then escorted a remorseful Natsumi Tsuji to the station. Initially, she appeared as any distressed child might, crying and apologizing. The motive behind her actions was unclear. However, soon after, Natsumi narrated the events that led to the gruesome murder she committed. She revealed to the police that she and Satomi Mitarai were friends before the incident, sharing common interests in basketball and internet surfing. This is where friction in their friendship began. On May 27, 2004, Natsumi discovered that Satomi had been speaking ill of her to other friends, referring to her as a buriko, goody-goody, or more disparagingly, fatty. Although Natsumi tried to ignore these comments, her indifference seemed to intensify Satomi's taunts. It was reported that prior to the fatal incident, Natsumi contemplated harming Satomi. She considered various means, an ice pick, a box cutter, or strangulation. However, upon seeing Satomi at school the following day, she realized she couldn't go through it. On the evening of May 28, 2004, Satomi again badmouthed Natsumi. Unfortunately for Satomi, Natsumi saw the offensive message before it was deleted. Satomi received a response from Natsumi threatening to kill her. Despite the menacing message, Satomi appeared undisturbed. Eventually, Natsumi reached her breaking point. During the lunch break on June 1, 2004, Natsumi lured Satomi to an empty room. According to her confession to the school counselor, she drew the curtains, darkening the space. She approached Satomi from behind, attempted to cover her eyes, but was unsuccessful. Nevertheless, Natsumi used a box cutter to slash Satomi's throat, watching for about 15 minutes as Satomi slowly died before departing. Upon arrest, Natsumi Tsuji was referred to as Girl A to shield her identity in accordance with Japanese legal procedures. The case became publicly known as the Nevada Tang murder. Why this moniker? In a presumed class photo featuring both Natsumi and Satomi, Natsumi was seen wearing a Nevada sweater. The public attached the suffix tang, a more affectionate variant of jang. After her arrest, investigators delved into what might have driven the young girl to commit such a gruesome act. They found that Natsumi had a penchant for horror, be it in films or books. An early internet enthusiast, she frequented sites discussing macabre topics such as urban legends and content now considered part of internet's underbelly. Battle Royale was among her favorite novels and films, and she often consumed related fan fiction. Reports even suggest Natsumi frequented the infamous Red Room website, known for its unsettling content. An associated urban legend tells of a deadly game that resulted in victims' rooms being drenched in their blood. Yet, in all this dark content, Natsumi found intrigue. Further examination of Natsumi's internet history revealed her disdain was not limited to Satomi, but extended to her entire class, who she believed participated in the bullying. On her personal webpage, Natsumi allegedly expressed her contempt for them, even penning a post that appeared to be an internal dialogue. She wrote that taking a life was inexcusable, then questioned her own thoughts on the matter. Subsequently, Natsumi was evaluated by a forensic psychologist. Besides the usual minor altercations typical of children, she displayed no indicators of psychological distress or illness in the month preceding the crime. The public was swift to label her a hikikomori, denoting severe social withdrawal. However, no clinical assessment corroborated this assertion. Aside from that, the medical examiners took notes on Natsumi's communication problems and obsessions. According to a source, Natsumi was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. Those with Asperger's syndrome experience difficulties relating to other people, understanding social cues, and maintaining friendships. Perhaps this was what the general public mistook as signs that Natsumi was a hikikomori. Masashi Watanabe, the head of the Sasebo Children's Counseling Center, was unnerved by how normal Natsumi Tsuji appeared. She displayed no signs of being a troubled child and had not experienced abuse at home. It's hard to believe such a heinous crime could come from an otherwise ordinary little girl. Echoing his sentiment, Natsumi seemed just like any other child. Natsumi's lawyer, Nozumu Kawazue, suggested that his client might have been heavily influenced by the media she consumed. Children are very impressionable at a young age, serving as a warning to all parents to monitor the media their children consume. However, this realization did not make it easier for Natsumi to avoid punishment, regardless of her youth and remorse. On September 15, 2004, the Japanese family court did not take Natsumi's young age into consideration due to the severity of her crime. Judge Heinai Komatsu commented that although the girl did not have a mental illness, her ego was large and heavily influenced by the media she consumed. The Nagasaki family court sentenced her to 2 years of involuntary commitment, which was then extended by 2 more years in 2006. Natsumi Tsuji was sent to a juvenile reformatory center in Tochigi Prefecture. The impact of this case on Japan was significant. Kiichi Inoue, a minister responsible for disaster management in Tokyo, commented that the rise of the feminist movement might have influenced the girl's actions. According to Mr. Inoue, the murder was a sign that the number of assertive women had increased compared to the past. This sparked massive criticism, including for Hiroki Hosoda, the chief cabinet secretary, who stated that one's gender was irrelevant in this case, and that Inoue needed to improve his argument. There was a debate in Japan regarding the age of criminal responsibility. Previously, there was the Kobe child murder, where 14-year-old Shinichiro Azuma murdered 10-year-old Yamashita Ayaka and 11-year-old Hase Jun. Due to this crime, the age of criminal responsibility in the early 2000s was set between 14 to 16 in Japan. Because of this case, there were discussions about lowering it again, causing public anxiety. For Satomi Mitarai's father, the weight of the event was immense. The heartbreaking letter he wrote to his deceased daughter was published in a national newspaper during the trial preparations. In the letter, Kyoji wondered why Satomi wasn't there, if she was playing happily, and if she had met her mother yet. After all, his daughter had always been the one to lift his spirits after his wife passed away 3 years prior. On March 18, 2005, during the Okubo Elementary School graduation ceremony, out of respect for the affected families, the school's graduation album featured blank pages where class pictures of Satomi and Natsumi would have been. Satomi was awarded a graduation certificate, which her father accepted on her behalf. Natsumi also received a certificate, as the school believed it would aid her reintegration into society in the future. On the other hand, many Japanese web communities such as 2channel and Futaba Channel became engrossed in the story of the young murderer. Instead of recognizing the severity of the crime, they began to idolize and embrace the identity of Nevada Tang, creating memes and artworks about her. In June 2005, a mass cosplay of Nevada Tang emerged, and the Nevada University hoodie became a top-selling item online. Many treated the murder as if it was a piece of fictional horror like a creepypasta. A few weeks later, Nevada University temporarily removed the sweatshirt from their catalog. Authorities tried to remove pictures of the art or cosplays, deeming them disrespectful. But whenever one was taken down, more would appear. There's even a song dedicated to it called Cutie Nevada by an unknown artist. Natsumi Tsuji earned the nickname of Japan's cutest killer, a title that is unsettling for many. As of now, we know that Natsumi Tsuji has been released from her sentence. Her life remains a secret, and she isn't hounded by the past. She was given a new name, allowing her a second chance at a normal life. Natsumi Tsuji and her family moved to an undisclosed location in Japan. While some might argue that Satomi Mitarai had it coming after bullying Natsumi Tsuji, nothing justifies such a violent end. Years later, the rise in juvenile crimes in the Asia-Pacific regions is undeniable. Most crimes committed by children nowadays relate to drugs, delinquency, or severe bullying in schools. Multiple factors might influence children under 18 to commit adult-like crimes, including socioeconomic status, media exposure, and parental influences. One lingering question is whether children feel protected by their age. If they commit a serious offense, they are sent to a reformatory center which focuses on rehabilitation rather than a jail. For some, this might bring shame to their family, but for more stubborn individuals, it might feel no different than after-school detention. It's the responsibility of parents, teachers, and other adult figures to guide children towards better problem-solving tactics. The case of Satomi Mitarai serves as a cautionary tale about the influence of the internet and media on young minds. Children easily mimic what they see, and violent or negative behaviors can be replicated if not supervised. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.